Good day everyone, and today we're going to talk about prototype and why is prototype very important in any R&D projects. Whatever your product is, a machine, apparatus, a method, a computer system, you need to show a good prototype that will help you demonstrate the technology that you are proposing. Before I go into details of discussing the prototype, I would like to show you samples of my own prototyping procedures, from 2D drawings, virtual 3D, Cad models, 3D printing, and prototypes using appropriate materials or working prototype. For the past years, I have been using the so-called fused deposition modeling or FDM in making prototypes. The fused deposition modeling is a type of 3D printing where plastic filaments are loaded into a CNC machine that melts the plastic through its extruder and prints thin layers of plastic one after another until the tangible 3D model is formed. This one is an FDM prototype of my utility model registered pen holding training apparatus. The prototype was done in FDM using PLA plastic. This is a working prototype which I have sold a few pieces already. The prototype enabled me to test the functionality of my ideated product. That's to allow the user to hold the pencil in the desired comfortable posture. As a drafting teacher before, I used to instruct students to hold the pencil properly to gain total control of the implement, which is important to produce good results. Through an ethnography, I have observed that many people get used to holding a pen or pencil in the wrong posture that result to straining their hands, which makes writing a stressful task. My investigation was supported in one of my reviews. There are four known ways of holding writing implement, and the so-called dynamic tripod is one which is the most comfortable writing posture. This is what we also taught in our drafting class. The apparatus is used by first inserting the pen or pencil in the pen holder aperture and subsequently inserting the middle finger in the finger holding portion, consequently grasping the writing implement with the index finger and the thumb positions the hand in the best writing posture. This invention has won second place in the Regional Invention Contest and Exhibits 2017. This one is the regional winner in the Regional Invention Contests and Exhibits 2017 that is sponsored by the DOST. This is my modified electrical junction box made of PLA plastic. This is intended to allow a non-electrician to do house wiring. The learning curve for splicing will not allow a layman to learn before being able to do house wiring for himself. The apparatus has a built-in connection for the lighting load circuit, which removes the need for the user to do wire splicing. Instead, the four terminals, which has labels where the user can determine where to connect the line wires, the switch terminals, and the load terminals. This third one is what I call a key grip enhancer. It's patent pending. The expected user are either children who are not strong enough to twist a key in a doorknob. Another group of users are adults experiencing weakening of muscle strength like those undergoing physical therapy. The apparatus provide good grip to add strength in twisting a key. This one is a utility model application of one of my client which I interpreted based on his concept design. Through this diagram, I was able to explain to the examiner how the apparatus works. This is an anti-theft device which, upon start of the engine, a GSM module installed in a motor vehicle sends a message to the authorized user, and upon receipt of the message, the authorized user has the option to enable or disable the motor vehicle to move through remotely controlling the accelerator pedal sensor. That is, putting the engine to idling condition when the person who started the engine is an unauthorized person. In the absence of a tangible model, a drawing with a good graphical illustration that can provide the best appreciation of how the product works can be a good substitute, and thus is also considered a prototype. This next one is what I call a fruit bagging apparatus or a fruit bagger. It is used to bag or wrap a fruit like mango while still on top of the tree. Because did you know that bagging a mango fruit is a sort of risk taking activity? Watch how it works. A 3D CAD model is also a very good tool to virtually demonstrate how parts of a product like a machine, tool, or an industrial design. Creating a virtual 3D representation of your product can surely save you the cost during the development and iteration stages. I would even recommend that you will leverage on this tool in the design process before proceeding to creating your optimum design in the tangible form. There are various 3D modeling applications you can choose from. Pick one and master at least the essential skills. Almost all 3D applications can produce extension files that can be read by a 3D printing machine, such as the STL. For those in the ICT who are aiming to create a system or an application, I would advise that you create a mock-up of the graphic user interface like a storyboard to show your audience how the system or the application will look like on screen when the development is done. This is an example of a building construction estimating app I created when I was active in the architectural design and estimates. The mock-up of your application edited in an image editing software can also become part of the final GUI. Alright, so hello again guys and good day. I am now here in my little office near sa Cottage Sim. Change outfit because I have to record this now. So far the video I presented to you are examples of the prototypes I've been doing for years since my first invention way back in year 2000 for my master's thesis. That was an OPIC projector which was not included in my presentation. That has actually expired utility model. No? Since then, I've been doing in developmental researches for passion and for academic and professional development. And I hope you are already aware of the value of research in achieving steps in the academic ladder. So, as future PhDs in technology management, we used to talk about technology and technology development. And so, to walk the talk, product development should become a way of life, our way of life in the academy. Agitating and implementing the technology through prototyping is always part of the process. I have observed that the concept of prototyping is often misinterpreted. A prototype is not the end product alone. It's not the end product. Prototyping should be or is part of the process in research and development projects. By this, I want you to ponder on this question, and I'm going to ask this in our activity. Sorry, na? Can you answer the question, what is the difference between your prototypes and your commercial product? In this course, PhDTM, you are only constrained by the time frame given to you to do the agenting and prototyping process. Since, of course, dissertation writing is usually done and is usually required to finish in just a semester's time. So the iteration process, by saying iteration process, that is creating a prototype, evaluating or testing, then improving the prototype, then testing, prototype again, testing, and so on until you reach your optimum design. So because of the time constraints, usually we only experience doing a single prototype. My patented invention, for example, has undergone 3 iterations of prototyping before I presented it in my dissertation defense. It was my pet product or project for years before my doctorate. That is why it has already a patent when it was defended in front of a set of panels. And it still underwent 2 more iterations or improvements before I joined it in a regional and national invention contest, which gained me an award. So aside from your requirement in our course, MT514, my encouragement is that you start with creating prototypes of your product so that or your system or whatever you are conceiving or aspiring to use in your dissertation later on. So that when you will be presenting your dissertation or thesis maybe, you will be presenting the optimum design, not the perfect design, but the optimum design. By saying optimum, I mean the most conducive design which is useful to your user at a certain moment or for the time being. And as I have said before, other extra advantages are secondary design criteria. Are secondary, I mean. In the materials I attached in this classwork, I provided a research study that discusses the value of a prototype in companies. What advantages has the prototype for a product brainstorming or presentation, and what is the drawback or what are the drawbacks without this or without the prototype. There is also a link for other avenues for creating a prototype. You will discover that you can even use a paper to present a prototype. Say for example, if your product is a computer system, you can leverage using the PowerPoint slides. No? The PowerPoint slides will do to do the simulation of the so-called go-to in programming, go-to frames or go-to pages of the program. Now create a good diagram if diagram will suffice. 3D virtual models is best during the evaluation process of products that are tangible like machines or tools. And the bottom line is to put your message or messages clearly across through the use of your chosen prototypes. Okay, so in the next activity I will require you to brainstorm on how to identify ways to best evaluate your prototypes, and this is what I'm referring to, or what I'm referring to is on product evaluation process. So You can read on that in advance, and see you on the next lesson.